Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm Justin Davis from Drone Camps RC. I have a new guest in the shop today. These are the Headplay version 2s, also known as Headplay SE's special edition. I don't know what's special about them, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to tell you the good things and maybe the not so good things about these Headplay SEs. They are quite a bit better than the original SEs that came out, mainly because they have a lot lower latency on there. And what is latency for you guys that are new? That is lag in the video frames coming back to your goggles from your quadcopter. So that makes a big difference when you're flying FPV, because you don't want a lot of stutter and missing frames in between your aircraft and you. So that makes just a richer, more real-time experience. Now they are an alternative goggle to something like the Fatshark HDs that I have sitting here. These are around $550, around $500. So these are about half that price, around the $200 range even on some websites. So a lot of people like the Headplays, but let me go ahead and put these on the bench for a little closer look and show you why people tend to like these so much. All right guys, here they are on the bench. They are pretty cool looking. I like this green and black. It's kind of Kawasaki green. I have that DYS right turn circular polarized antenna on the very top here for running 5.8. 5.8 is very standard. If you're just getting into this, this is what most everybody runs for FPV racing, is 5.8. So you also have the option of using the DVR with these, and it's super nice because they actually built in an additional cable here to go directly into the power source and record on your auxiliary 2 channel. So pretty sweet. You're going to be flying on auxiliary 1. If you're going to fly with these and record, you're going to have to switch back over to auxiliary 1, because in my testing there's no way to be able to fly with the lag that's on auxiliary 2. I tried to do it and I wasn't able to fly with that. So it's an extreme bit of lag on the DVR screen, which is kind of unfortunate, because if you're flying Fatshark and you're recording, it records straight from whatever screen you're on. So it's pretty nice that Fatsharks have integrated DVR on whatever channel you're on, or whatever video input you're on. So that is a very big benefit of Fatsharks, but the Fatsharks are also around $500 for the HDs. Now the resolution on these, it's a 7-inch screen inside here, so it's a pretty big screen, and you're looking at 1280 by 600 resolution. The DVR itself, it has a resolution of 720 by 480. You can also do 1280 by 480 as HD video, and you can break it down to VGA 640 by 480, which is standard SD television resolution. Now, what I thought was cool about the Headplays is that I can use a 2 to 4S battery pack for running my goggles in the field. It's nice because I have tons of these 4S batteries in the field, and that's what I'm flying my quads with. So if my battery dies on my goggles, all I have to do is reach into my bag, grab one of these. It already has an XT60 on it, and I can plug it straight into the goggles, no problem on 4S. They do recommend running it 2 to 3S, but you can absolutely use a 4S battery, and that's kind of cool. Now I was looking at this connector on the back of the goggles, and this might be one con. I thought these wires were kind of thin to be just kind of hanging out like this. There should be some kind of extra heat shrink on this. Maybe add a nice big piece of heat shrink around this whole backside of this cable, because these are really tiny wires to just kind of have hanging out there on the edge of your goggles. It does have a little collar protector here on the edge of the XT60 to help protect that, but you're gonna want to cover this up a little bit, because you can look right in here and you can see the metal connectors right inside there. So definitely recommend covering that up. And back here on the rear of the goggles, you do have nice straps that already come built into this mounting plate for your battery. And this is kind of nice back here. So it's actually perfectly sized for like a 1300 4S or 3S battery. If you wanted to mount one of these right on there, it fits, no problem. You can also use a 3S 2200. I think that's going to give you a little longer running range than a 1300. But this is probably the battery that I would recommend. It's a little heavier, but it's going to last quite a bit longer out in the field. And these are pretty cheap. You can also get a cheaper version of these. Just get the China version of these for around, I think they're super cheap, around $10 to $15 for these battery packs. Now the E-Fly one, I think that one's around $30 to $40. Now I just took that battery off for you guys so you can see what it looks like without the battery on there. There are two little foam pads on each side to keep the battery nice and snug in place when you strap it down. Now let's talk about the head strap on here, because the head strap that goes around the back of your head, that's going to be the most important part of these goggles as far as comfort goes. And some of the goggles out there that are the cheaper brands, they have really bad head straps. It's nice to have a nice pair of goggles, but if you don't have nice head straps to go along with it, that just makes it uncomfortable during the flying experience. So I found that these were probably the most comfortable box version goggles out there that I've tried so far, and they fit a variety of size heads because they are adjustable in the back and on the sides, and they're plenty big, so you can shrink them down pretty small to fit a kid, or you can put them on your head and scale them out a little bit using these little straps on the side. They also have a little rubber grip on the inside, which is super nice. I like that detail a lot. Now also over here on this side, you also have an HDMI in, which is super cool because guys that have Inspire 1s or DJI, you have a converter for HDMI out on your Phantom or on your Inspire 1. You can actually go into these goggles and do some FPV with your aerial quad, and that's also a nice option. Now this is the DVR that comes along with it, and they work pretty good. Not the best DVR in the world, but as far as lag goes, it does have quite a bit of lag on that DVR screen in aux 2, and I found that to be kind of disappointing because I was hoping that it would have a more real-time look, but you're watching frames that are coming out of the DVR recording, so it's going to have some lag there, so you can't fly on that screen on aux 2. You have to start recording on aux 2 and then switch over to aux 1 for your real-time frames. And the lag on these on that auxiliary 1 channel is acceptable. It is way better than the original Headplays, around 40 milliseconds. This is down to 15 milliseconds. So in some other people's testing on their channels, they were getting almost no latency. And now you're looking at a straight-on view of this VTX LED display here, and you've got a little tiny black button next to it. It does flash back and forth from the band to the channel that you're on. So I'm on band B, I'm on channel 4, just like that. And if you press and hold for 5 seconds, this is nice because this is the auto scan feature. You'll see it start to blink like that, and it's going to sit there and search for the channel that's available. If you're flying with multiple people, you might have to manually find your channel. Now, what's also cool is you can switch up to 5 different bands. You've got band A, B, E, F, and R, so it does race band. That's also super nice. And you've got 8 channels on each band, pretty standard, up to 40 channels on this Headplay SE. So that's pretty cool. If you short press just like that, you can scan through all the channels on that current band that you're on. Now, if you long press it for more than 2 seconds, you will be able to change the band that you're on. So now on C, D, keep pressing like this, long press, and it will change from band to band. Now you're looking at the left side of the goggles, and we have a few different buttons here, and they are different. Each one of them feels different to your finger when you're kind of in the goggles and searching for these buttons. You can kind of tell which button you're on top of if you feel it. It's almost like Braille in a way. We have source button right here for letting you know which source you're on, if you're on AV1, AV2, HDMI. Also have navigation menu buttons here that go up and down, and you have a selection button right here. If you press on anything in the menu, press that, and you will go into the menu, as well as 2 different volume buttons. So if you wanted to listen to a mic that you have on an aircraft, you can turn that up or down. I kind of found it kind of annoying because every time it goes to a static screen, it has a really pretty loud speaker on here. So I turned mine all the way down just so that it didn't do that. Now I can auto scan on here as well on the very top like I showed you before, and I'll go ahead and show you that real-time FPV view we got going on here. Now that we have a nice view here, let's go ahead and press on the menu button on the very back, and just hold it down for 2 seconds and this menu will pop up. So now you're looking at the internal goggle menu. You can go in here with using the arrows up and down, and you can select quite a few different options in here. It's really easy to access this. I feel like it's easier to access than the Fatshark goggles that I have, but there's a lot of stuff in here that you can change. You can change the picture mode, the way that the picture looks on screen. To make a selection, just press on the plus key or the minus key. And you can go also navigate here up and down, contrast, brightness, saturation, and sharpness. I like mine to be a little bit softer and not quite so grainy, so I usually decrease my sharpness just a little bit, sometimes bump up the saturation. Now to go back out, just hit that menu button again, hold it for a second or two, and you'll go back to that main screen. Pressing the positive and negative button again here to go up or down. Pretty simple to navigate these menus. You can also change the color temp if you want it warmer or cooler. You can also change the system settings in here. Pressing plus will get us to that menu, and then pressing up and down lets us navigate all of this. So that's pretty nice, pretty easy to get to all these different menus. And the longer you have these goggles, the more used to these settings you get. Now the DVR also has an internal settings menu, so you can go in there and change the resolution on your DVR recordings. So if you want those higher resolution or lower resolution, you can also change that. That's also pretty cool. So now if you wait just a second or two, that menu will actually disappear off the screen. Okay, so let's go over to that other screen. I'm just going to press source here and it'll switch me over to AV2, and AV2 is where we get to our DVR. You can see a little time code there on the very bottom right, and you should see a little red dot there for recording. Once that starts recording, it's going to flash. Now up at the top left, we still have that same battery telemetry for the goggles battery power source, and I have a little icon of a movie camera up there at the top left to let me know that I'm on the DVR screen. Now the disappointing thing about this is that this doesn't really have a very good latency. It has a terrible amount of lag for flying in real time. So what you're going to do is you're going to press record on the DVR by pressing on K1, and you should see the light start to flash on your DVR at the bottom of the screen. It's going to let you know that it's recording, and also go red just like that. And now on the DVR itself, you'll actually see a flashing light in there. So you know you have two visuals that you're recording on your DVR, and that's also pretty sweet. So now I can go back to the main screen to fly. So you do have to switch over back to AV1. Make sure you don't forget to do that. If you take off while you're on AV2, it's going to be really hard to fly. Okay, so you also can do playback inside this DVR screen on AV2. You can go back and watch your videos on these. So if you record an awesome flight, you want to share it with a friend, you can just let them borrow your goggles and pull up the DVR menu. Super cool also that you can go into the settings and change the resolution on the DVR inside the goggles by using the DVR menu buttons. Now I'm going to stop this recording, going to press K1 again, and there you can see it stopped. It also has a time code there to let me know how much time I have left to record on my DVR. So if you're getting low, it should give you a warning that you're about to run out of memory. So how do you get to this menu? You press on K2 and hold it for a second, and it brings you into the DVR settings. And this is pretty nice and pretty slick from Headplay that we can go in here. We can select the source. We have VGA there. If you press K3 on the very top of the DVR, you can switch down and you can go up, navigate up and down in these menus. Video time, it says 10 minutes there. Recording sound, we can turn that on and off. If you hit the K2 button, it'll actually give you a choice. If you hit K3, you can go up and down. Hit K2 again, and I can turn that off. So that's pretty sweet. Hitting K3 again, I can go down. And it looks like I can change this to, it has a timer there, 10 or 20 minutes. I can select either one, or 30 minutes actually, and go back to off, and I'll put it back on 10. I'm just gonna leave it on that. So pressing K2 to make a selection, and K1 should bring me back up, and K2 or K3 actually brings me down. So if you wanted to go up a selection, you can press K1 on the DVR. So you have up, down, and selection is K2. Let's see, let's go to the size there. I'll show you the different sizes. We have VGA, D1, HD. Depending on what the resolution you want. So VGA is actually going to be the lowest resolution at 640 by 480. D1 is going to be 720 by 480, and then HD is going to be 1280 by 480. So if you want the best resolution recording for your DVR, go ahead and set that to HD by pressing K2. So now I have it set to HD. Now once you're in that menu, if you press and hold down K2, it'll actually take you to this sub menu. You can get to format the card, you can change the language, you can do a system reset back to the factory settings here. You can also change the light frequency, you can change the TV output from NTSC to PAL. So that's also pretty sweet. Now if you press and hold down K3, it'll also take you to the playback menu. So you can go in here and you can watch the videos that you recorded before. So this is the one that we recorded earlier that I'm watching there. And I'm sure if you press K3, it'll take you back out of that. So back to the main screen, and now we can record our flight videos. Now, instead of coming with a hard case like some of the other smaller goggles do come with, these actually come with this soft sort of backpack style material. It does have two drawstrings here on each side, so you could sort of make this a backpack and wear it on your back if you were hiking into a location, or just throw it over your shoulder. So you can carry it with this pretty long strap that comes along with it, and you can keep a lot of dust and water off your goggles. So if you're hiking and it starts raining, this is nice to have this along with you. I've been in different situations flying out here in the Pacific Northwest where I had to quickly provide some kind of rain fly for whatever gear I have. And if you're back east, you have those sort of like flash showers that happen and you need to just quickly cover everything up. This is nice that you can do that because this will give you a little bit of protection from the rain. Not going to be totally waterproof because there's a little bit of a hole there in the very top, but you also get two types of foam that comes along with it. So very nice. You get really thick foam. It's pretty thick there, probably about a ½ inch here, and you also get another style foam that's about a ¼ inch. You can either mix that up, having the thicker foam down bottom and the thinner foam up top, or you can do all the same. You also get some RHO lenses along with it, and this is cool because if you need glasses and you need better magnification, these are nice. You take your goggles apart, 4 screws on the bottom come out, and then you take the original screen that was in here, take that out, put these in, and you can also adjust them by moving them forwards and backwards, and it does make a difference when you're making adjustments, the distance away from your eyes, depending on how your eyesight is. So everyone wants to know, what's the better set of goggles? Is it the Headplays or the Fatsharks? I'm not going to say either one of them are better. It depends on what you want, what you feel is more comfortable. My best advice to anyone that's going to buy goggles for the first time is go out to your local field and wear some Fatsharks on your face. See what those feel like and what they look like depending on your eyesight. It's going to be different each experience. I find that most goggles, box goggles, I don't like because they seem to be a little too close to my face, and that messes with me a little bit. So I like my Fatshark HDs because they feel like the video is out far enough to where everything is in focus for my particular eyes. But I have 20/20 vision, so guys that don't have 20/20 vision, you're going to have to buy those inserts, and depending on your prescription, those are going to be from $50 to $100. They're not super cheap, but they will slide in right here inside those little slots right there. You can also get professional lenses made for the Headplays if you need, but it's also cool that those come with these little magnification lenses here, and you can adjust those in and out depending on your eyesight. Very important that you do move them in and out before you put them back together. So that's an added value of the Headplays in my opinion. Now, one drawback with the Headplays, and I mentioned that before, is the fact that they don't have diversity on this. For the version 2, I was kind of hoping that they would have diversity. Not the end of the world that they don't have 2 antennas on it like the Fatshark HDs do. This is nice, but I did have to mod this. This is an extra upgrade. This is LaForge version 2 on there, so Fatsharks will have to be modded to get diversity, but maybe they'll have some type of mod for this in the future, who knows. it's not the end of the world if you don't have diversity, but it just adds, if you're new to this, it adds extra penetration for when you're going out behind obstacles and trees and buildings and things. So IB Crazy did do a test with these, and he flew around the back of his house. I saw his video, and he didn't have too much loss of video. You're going to be just fine with the Headplay SEs. I think they're a pretty good bet, and also less than half the cost of the Fatshark Dominator HDs. Now, in comparison, the menus, getting into the Fatshark menus are a little more complicated. These buttons, you have to kind of feel around and remember how to do it. And sometimes when I'm trying to go back to my playback, it's been a while since I went to the playback menu, and I kind of forget how to get to it. So I feel like the Headplay SEs are a little more user-friendly, a little easier to access the DVR menus, change the resolution on my DVR, and start the recording. To start the recording on the Fatsharks, you have to press this, long press it to activate the DVR, and then press it again once for a quick press to start recording. On the Headplay SEs, I just have to press this little K1 button one time and I'm recording. So the DVR is already set to go. Now, the other drawback about the SEs is the fact that you have to switch over back to AV1 to be able to fly while you're recording on AV2. Now, Fatsharks, still in the $500 range, but you can record on any different source input that you're on. So that's also kind of an advantage of the Fatshark HDs. So my overall opinion of the SEs is that they are very user-friendly. I love the way the screen looks on my face, and like I said, I'm using them more and more. You're going to see me definitely in the field with these, and I like the fact that it already has an XT60 on there, where the Fatsharks have that barrel connector style cable on the battery, so I have to mod all my batteries to fit specifically my Fatsharks, whereas these I can just pick up any battery out of my box that's 2 to 4S, and I can have an extra battery at the field. So pretty cool when my battery dies that I have any battery available. So thanks again for watching this little overview and sort of comparison of the Fatshark HDs. A lot of guys have questions between the Headplays and the Fatsharks, so hopefully I answered some questions for you guys. Please do subscribe on my channel because we get new stuff all week long. Right now it's crazy. We're probably getting boxes almost every day of the week, so this is great for showing you guys what's new and what's hot in the hobby. So I'm Justin Davis, guys. I'll see you on the next one.